वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके। ॐ ज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णहस्ताय वितरुत्पवपदति प्रिय श्रीगुरुराय स्वामी सुभक्तरारास बिहारी भक्तिविचात्मदाय नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णहस्ताय वितरुष्मते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादिकाचार्येषु मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतां Krishna. So we are continuing to read Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 14, the story of King Chitraketu's lamentation. So in text 30. Sapi tat prasanat eva Chitraketur adharayat Garbham krita dyutir devi Kritikagner ivatmajam. As Kartika Devi, after receiving the semen, text 13, after receiving the semen of Lord Shiva from Agni, conceived a child called Skand, Kartikeya. You know where we are? Chapter 14, text 30. 30. 29 we completed, no? Yeah. Harashok, we read this. Krita Dyuti, having received semen from Chitraketu, became pregnant after eating remnants of food from the yajna performed by Angira. So Angira Rishi, he did this yajna, so he received that sweet rice, right? He got sweet rice, and it has the potency to create a body, right? So that yajna was done to Twashta, right? Who manufactures our bodies. So example is given here that Krita Devi received the semen of Lord Shiva from Agni. So conceived a child called Skanda, that is Kartikeya. So similarly, this queen became pregnant. Tasya anudinam garbha shukla paksha ivodupah vibhavridhe sura senesha tejasa shanakher nripa. After receiving semen from Maharaj Chitraketu, the king of Surashen, Queen Krita Duty gradually developed in her pregnancy. O King Parikshit, just as the moon develops during the bright fortnight. Athakala upavrittihi kumara samajayatah janayam sura senanam shrinvatam paramam mudham. Thereafter, in due course of time, a son was born to the king. Hearing news of this, all the inhabitants of the state of Surasen became extremely pleased. Vishturaja Kumarasya Snata Shuchiralankritah Vachayitva Shishu Vipre Karayam Asajatakam. King Chitraketu was specially pleased. After purifying himself by bathing and by decorating himself with ornaments, he engaged learned brahmanas in offering benedictions to the child and performing the birth ceremony. The Jatakam. Tebhyo anyam rajataham vasamsya bharanani cha gramam hayan jagan pradan dhenunam arbudani shat. Unto the brahmanas who took part in the ritualistic ceremony, the king gave charity of gold, silver, garments, ornaments, villages, horses, and elephants, as well as 60 crore of cows, 600 million cows. Varasha kamam anyeshaham Bhajanya eva dehinam dhanyam yashasyam ayushyam kumarasya mahamanaha. As a cloud indiscriminately pours water on the earth, the beneficent King Chitraketu, to increase the reputation, opulence, and longevity of his son, distributed like rainfall all desiring things to everyone. Kritra labdhetha rajarshis tanaye nudinam pituhu yatha nishvasya krichrapte nihane snehonvavardhata. When a poor man gets some money after great difficulty, his affection for the money increases daily. Similarly, when King Chitraketu, after great difficulty, received a son, his affection for the son increased day after day. Matustvatitaram putre sneho moha samudbhavaha krita jyute sapatninam praja kama jwaro bhavati. The mother's attraction was an attention to the son like that of the child's father excessively increased. The other wives, seeing Krita Duti's son, were very much agitated as if by high fevers. Jwara, Jalan, right? With a desire to have sons. Chitraketur ati pretir yatha dare prajavati na tathanyeshu sanjagye balam lala yatuhunvaham. As King Chitraketu fostered his son very carefully, his affection for Queen Tritadyuti increased, but gradually he lost affection for the other wives who had no sons. That's the mistake, right? So one One queen gave him the sun, so all his attention went to her and he neglected. Just see her. I don't know why this happened. This material world is like this. Who's satisfying your desire, that's where your attention goes. And so he neglected the others. You have to pay the price for this. And just see, he's a great politician. He's a king. He's a great politician, but he could not handle his own household. Right? He knows everything about how to keep everybody satisfied, under control. But his wives, he didn't understand the psychology of the wives. Taparyatapyan atmanam garhayantyobhyasuyaya anapatyena dukhena ragyaschanadarena cha. The other queens were extremely unhappy due to their being sonless. Because of the king's negligence towards them, they condemned themselves in envy and lamented. Abhiya Shuyaya. Dhik aprajam striyam papam pratyuscha griha samatam suprajabhi sapatnibhyai dasim eva tiraskritam. A wife who has no sons is neglected at home by her husband and dishonored by her co-wives exactly like a maidservant. Certainly such a woman is condemned in every respect because of her sinful life. So if you don't have children, so it says somebody doesn't have children because of sinful life. As stated by Chanakya Pandit, Mata yasya grihe nasti bharya cha priyavadini aranyam tena gantavyam yatharanyam tatha griham. A person who has no mother at home and whose wife doesn't speak sweetly should go to the forest. In his house there's no mother, right? Meaning a home means mother and wife. So no mother at home and whose wife doesn't speak sweetly should go to the forest, should take vanapras. For such a person, living at home and living in the forest are equal. Similarly, for a woman who has no son, who is not cared for by her husband, and whose co-wives neglect her, treating her like a maid servant, to go to the forest is better than to remain at home. Right? Dasinam kuno santapaha swamina paricharyaya abhikshnam labdha mananam dasya dasiva durbhagaha. Okay, I'll read this last. Even maid servants who are constantly engaged in rendering service to the husband are honored by the husband, and thus they have nothing for which to lament. Our position, however, is that we are the maid servants of the maid servant. Therefore, we are most unfortunate. Okay, just read down. Sorry? Yeah, it says, even maid servants who are constantly engaged in rendering service to the husband are honored by the husband, and thus they have nothing for which to lament. Meaning all those servants who are serving the husband. So they're also like, it says they're honored. Our position is that we are maid servants of the servant, therefore we are most unfortunate. So they are saying that even the maids are honored, and we are not even, we are worse than, our position is worse than the maids. because the husband, when the maids are serving the husband, right? So the interaction is there. And here these queens,
Okay, the queens are speaking.
yeah, the queens,
Wonderful.
yeah, the queens. They are saying we are most unfortunate because our husband is not even looking. We are worse than the maid servants. So Dasya, Dasiva, Durbhaga, we are Durbhaga. It says, yeah, so why you not having children? Sinful life. Okay, we'll read now, text 42. एवं सन्दहयामानाम्नां सपत्न्या पुत्रसम्पदा राज्ञः सम्मता वृत्तीनां विद्वेषो बलवान् अभूत्.
Translation by Divine Grace Prabhupada. Sri Sukdev Goswami continued, being neglected by their husband and seeing Kritadyuti's opulence in possessing a son, Kritadyuti's co-wives always burned in every envy, which became extremely strong. With Vishnastamataya Striyo Daruna Chetase Garam Dadhu Kamaraya Durmasharapatam Prati. Translation. As their envy increased, they lost their intelligence, being extremely hard hearted and unable to tolerate the king's neglect. They finally administered poison to the son. प्रत्यादुतिर अजानन्ति सप्तमीनामः सुप्त सेवति संचिन्त्य निरक्ष्य व्यवचरित ग्रह. Translation. Unaware of the poison administered by her co-wives, Queen Kritaditi walked within the house thinking that her son was sleeping deeply. She did not understand that he was dead. Shayanam Sushtiram Vadam Upadharya Manashana Putram Manaya Me Bhadra Iti Dhatrim Achodaya. Translation. Thinking that her child had been sleeping for a long time, Queen Kritadoti, who was certainly very intelligent, ordered the nurse, "My dear friend, please bring my son here." Sasayanam upavrajya drishtachotaralocanam pranendriya atmabhi apatadbhuvi. Translation. When the maid servant approached the child who was lying down, she saw that his eyes were turned upward. There was no signs of life, all his senses having stopped, and she could understand that the child was dead. Seeing this, she immediately cried, "Now I am doomed," and fell to the ground. Sutaram swaram Granatapurabhyam ura uchkirpi parivasharachat Janitikam Dadarsha Balam Sahasamritam Sutam. Translation. In great agitation, the maidservant struck her breast with both hands and cried loudly in regretful words. Hearing her loud voice, the queen immediately came, and when she approached her son, she saw that he was suddenly dead. Bhumo parivrathya sucha ambara. Translation. Great lamentation, hair and dress in disarray, the queen fell to the ground unconscious. Tato Nipanta Parapartina Jana Narascha Maryascha Nishmaya Rodanam Agatya Tulya Vishanaya Sudho Tasya Cha Velikam Ruruddha Kritaka. Translation: O King Parishit, hearing the loud crying of all the inhabitants of the palace came both men and women. Being equally aggrieved, they also began to cry. The king, who had administered the poison, had also cried potentially, knowing full well their offense. Shrutva Shrutvaamritam putram alakshitantagam vinashtadrishti paraptam sakalam pati snehanubandha eva tatsuraparatam vimrachito anukriti dvijervrata पातालस्य चापादमूले मृतस्य विश्रुतशिरोरहम्बरा दीर्घं श्वसन् बाष्पकलो प्रदत्तो निर्भूतकण्ठो न शस्त्रकभद्भाषितम्. Translation: When King Chitraketu heard of his son's death from an unknown cause, he became almost blind. Because of his great affection for his son, his lamentation grew like a blazing fire, and as he went to see the dead child, he kept slipping and falling on the ground. Surrounded by his ministers and other officers and learned Brahmanas present, the king approached and full unconscious fell unconscious at the child's feet, his hair and dress scattered. When the king, breathing heavily, regained consciousness, his eyes were tearful and he could not speak. Patim.
Parashut, right? Parashut. Patim
Nirakshaya sucharpitam tada mritam chabalam sutam eko santatim janasya rajagni prakrit charitapam sati dadhana vilalapachitadha. Translation: When the queen saw her husband King Chitraketu merged in great lamentation and saw the dead child, who was the only son in the family, she lamented in various ways. This increased the pain in the course of the heart of all the inhabitants of the palace, the ministers, and all the Brahmanas. Pankamanditam Nishrinchati Sanjana Basvabindubhi Vikeshan Sucho Suchitram Kuravirasvasadam. Translation: The garland of flowers decorating the queen's head fell, and her hair scattered. Falling tears melted the collyrium on her eyes and moistened her breasts, which were covered with kumkum powder, as she lamented loss of the loss of her son. Her loud crying resembled the sweet sound of a kurari bird. Vidatastam Yasta Atmasya Apratirupam Sasi Purena Jivati Panasya Mriti Vipraya Yaschetam Asidravapara. Translation: Alas, O Providence, O Creator, you are certainly inexperienced in creation, for during the lifetime of a father, you have caused the death of his son, thus setting an opposition to your creative laws. If you are determined to contradict these laws, you are certainly the enemy of living entities and never merciful. Purport: This is the way a conditional and soul condemns the supreme creation when he meets reverses. Sometimes he accuses the Supreme Personality of Godhead of being crooked because some people are happy and some are not. Here the Queen blames Supreme Providence for her son's death. Following the creative laws, father should die first and then his son. If the creative laws are changed according to the whims of the Providence, then Providence certainly should not be considered merciful but must be considered inimical to the created being. Actually, it is not the creator but the conditioned soul who is inexperienced. He does not know how the subtle laws of rotary activity work, and without knowledge of these laws of nature, he ignorantly criticize the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So Prabhupada, it's like just ordinary people, right? Just ordinary people. So when the son dies, so immediately condemns the Supreme Lord. Oh, alas, O Providence, O Creator, you are such an inexperience in creation. For during the lifetime of your father, you have caused the death of his son, thus acting in opposition to his creative laws. If you are determined to contradict these laws, you are certainly the enemy of living entities and are never merciful. 55.
Namaste Tamatya Janmana Shariramastu Tad Atma Karmabhi Yaha Sneha Pasha Nij Sarga Vriddhiya Swayam Kritastam Uttamam
Imam
Vivashyati. Translation: My Lord, you may say that there is no law that a father must die in the lifetime of a son and that a son must be born in the lifetime of his father, since everyone lives and dies according to his own fruitive activities. However, if a fruitive activity is so strong that birth and death depend upon it, there is no need of a controller or God. Again, if you say that control is needed because the material energy does not have the power to act, one may answer that it may, if the bonds of affection you have created are distributed by fruitive action, no one will raise children with affection. Instead, everyone will cruelly neglect his children, since you have cut the bond of affection that compel a parent to raise his child. Reappear in experience and in intelligence. Purport: as stated in Brahm Samhita, Karmani Nirdhati Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajan. One who has taken as Krishna conscious devotional service is not affected by the results of karma. In this verse, karma has been stressed on the basis of karma mimamsha philosophy, which says that one must act according to his karma, that the supreme controller must give the result of karma. The subtle law of karma, which are controlled by the supreme, cannot be understood by ordinary conditioned soul. Therefore, Krishna says that one who can understand him, that how his acting controlling everything by subtle laws, immediately become freed by his grace. That is a statement of Brahm Samhita, Karmani Nirdhari Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajana. One should take to devotion service without reservation and surrender everything to the supreme will of the Lord. That will make one happy in this life and next.
So now this is an important section of karma. So one who has taken to Krishna consciousness, devotion service, is not affected by the results. So is not affected by the results of karma. In this verse, karma has been stressed on the basis of karma mimamsa, which states, so what does this philosophy say? That one must according to his karma, and that the supreme controller must give the results of karma. Meaning he is obliged. You've done your work, he has to compensate, right? The subtle laws of karma, which are controlled by the Supreme, cannot be understood by ordinary conditioned souls. Therefore, Krishna says that one who can understand him and how he is acting, controlling everything by subtle laws, immediately becomes freed from by his grace. So, understanding this law of karma. So, that is a statement of Brahma Samhita. One should take to devotional service without reservations and surrender everything to the supreme will of the Lord. So give up everything. Just like surrender to Krishna, give up everything to Krishna. So that will make one happy in this life and the next. Okay, text 56. Tvam tata narhashicha mam kripanam. It's not proper, right? Try another meter. त्वं तात नर्हसि च मां कृपणम् अनाथां त्यक्तुं विचक्ष्व पितरं तव शोकप्रताप्तम् अञ्जस्तरेम भवत्या प्रजा दुष्टरं स्यात् ध्वान्तं न याहि अकरुणेन यमेन दूरम्. My dear son, I am helpless and very much aggrieved. You should not give up my company. Just look at your lamenting father. You are helpless because without a son, you shall have to suffer the distress of going to the darkest, what's that? To the darkest hellish regions. You are the only hope by which we can get out of these darkness regions. Therefore, I request you not to go any further with the merciful Yam. So meaning the soul will progress. According to the Vedic injunctions, one must accept a wife just to beget a son who can deliver one from the clutches of Yamaraj. Unless one has a son, he has to offer oblations to the pitas or forefathers. One must suffer in Yamaraj kingdom. King Chitraketu was very much aggrieved, thinking that because his son was going away with Yamaraj, he himself will again suffer. The subtle laws exist for the karmis. If one becomes a devotee, he has no more obligations to the law of karma. So a devotee's life is different. Different. It's not like the karmis, they're dependent on that one child so that they don't go to hell. Whereas in bhakti, you're chanting the holy name, you're dependent on the Guru Parampara, right? Child or no child, it doesn't matter. Whereas in the karma kand, they're forced to have that one child. I don't know who was giving class. So saying that now people, they don't worry, they say they don't want children, but they won't have anybody to do pinda for them. Sometimes, like I was just hearing these, somehow it popped up. So this one person, he past life regressions, he does past life regression. So when some case come to him, so he analyzes, like, see their past life, or the person themselves see their past life. And there are so many sinful activities that they have performed, and that's why they're suffering in this life. So not having children or not able to get married, all this is, can see what we have done in past life. That's why these things don't happen. So a devotee is not worried about this system of karma kand, but he has to be, or she has to be very proper in devotional service. Otherwise, all these things come.
That's for the perfect devotees, a devotee like us.
No, we should improve, no? Every day we should improve. Yeah? Today our child is with us, tomorrow our child is not there, right? You leave the body, your child is somewhere else, cannot come, right? What will you do? Right? The people, they sit and wait for the child to come, but the body is suffering. I mean, the soul is suffering. Right? They can't live because they're supposed to go. There is a time period, right? And here they are, just sitting and waiting for this one, that one to come. So that poor Atma is roaming around, he is not able to live. So when the person dies, he should be taken immediately. Immediately should be removed within, the time given, because sometime maybe the soul comes back, So sufficient time should be given. I think it's 12 hours or so, right? So that we know that person has actually left.
See, in the West, they take so many days to
Claim, yeah. because they don't know. They don't
No,
know.
but when they want to do immediately, they don't get the, they are in queue, like, this is what's happening.
Because they don't know. They don't know what is. I think we spoke about that before also. Anyway, it's coming again. That this child who has become the source of lamentation. So, but a devotee who's engaged in devotional service. So we have to improve more and more and more. And we can't just stay where we are. So that's why when devotees, they don't have children. And what should they do? They should engage fully, 100% in Krishna's service, both husband and wife. And if they have one child, the child's grown up, then what do you do with your life, right? Let's engage in devotional service. So the subtle laws exist for the karmis. If one becomes a devotee, he has no more obligations to the laws of karma, right? Uttishtatah taime shishavavasyas tvam ahavayanti nripanandana samvihartum suptaschiram yashanaya cha bhavan parito bhungsvastanam piba sucho harana swakanam. The worst thing is that when the mother loses the child, right? There's nothing like this. Just see. My dear son, you have slept a long time. Now please get up. Your playmates are calling you to play. Since you must be very hungry, please get up and suck my breast and dissipate our lamentation. Right? Yeah? When a mother loses a child, it's terrible. Naham tanuja dadrishe hata mangalate mugdha smitam mudita vikshanam ananamcham kim va gatosyu papunam anvayam manyalokam nito grinena na shinomi kala giraste. My dear son, I am certainly most unfortunate, for I can no longer see your mild smiling. You have closed your eyes forever. I therefore conclude that you have been taken from this planet to another, from which you will not return. My dear son, I can no longer hear your pleasing voice. Shri Shuka Uvacha Vilapantyamritam Putram Iti Chitra Vilapane Chitraketu Brisham Tapto Muktakam Ho Ururodaha. Shukdev Goswami continued. Accompanied by his wife who was thus lamenting for her dead son, King Chitraketu began crying loudly with his open mouth, being greatly aggrieved. Yes, this is a king, okay? He's crying with open mouth. This Bhagavatam is describing this. Now, what to speak of ordinary people? Right? A king. Meaning you may be a king, but finally you're just another human being, right? He's afraid that he will die. He doesn't have a son. He may go to hell. The forefathers will go to hell. So he produces a child, and then he neglects the others. He doesn't know how to be diplomatic, right? Right? So the other women became hot-headed and poisoned that one son, right? So where's their love for their husband? If the husband is so happy to have one child, right? They should be happy. That no, they want the husband to pay attention to them. Tayorvilapatto sarve dampatyostad anuhrataha rurudusmanara sarvam asid achetanam. The king and queen lamented. all their male and female followers joined them in crying. Because of the sudden accident, all the citizens of the kingdom were almost unconscious. Everybody became plunged in lamentation. 61. Evam kashmalam apanam nashtasamgyam anayakam jatvan gira namo rishir ajagama sanat radha. My eyes are become it's all blood actually, my eyes. I don't read properly. It's like this this lens has so many. Okay. When the great sage Angira understood that the king was almost dead in an ocean of lamentation, he went there with Narada Rishi. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 6th canto, 14th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled King Chitraketu's Lamentation. We continue. You read? You have.
Chapter 15. The saints Narad and Angira instruct King Chitraketu. In this chapter, Angira Rishi said, along with Narad as far as possible. Angira and Narad Rishi came to relieve the king from excessive lamentation by instructing him about the spiritual significance of the life. The great saints Angira and Narad explained that the relationship between father and son is not factual. It is simply a representation of the illusory energy. The relationship did not exist before, nor will it stay in the future. By the arrangement of time, the relationship exists only in the present. One should not lament for temporary relationships. The entire cosmic manifestation is temporary. Although not unreal, it is not factual. By the direction of Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything created in the material world is transient. By a temporary arrangement, a father begets a child, or a living entity becomes a child of a so called father. The temporary arrangement is made by the Supreme Lord. Neither the father nor the son exists independently. As the king listened to the great sages, he was relieved from his false lamentation, and then he inquired about their identity. The great sages presented who they were, instructed that all sufferings are due to the bodily conception of life. When one understands his spiritual identity and surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Spiritual Person, one becomes actually happy. When one searches for happiness in matter, one must certainly lament for bodily relationship. Self realization means spiritual realization of one's relationship with Krishna. Such realization ends one miserable material life. Shukavacha Chaturita Gopante Patitam Nityanupam Shukabhibhutam Rajanam Bodhayanto Sad Uktigi. Translation. Sri Sukdev Goswami said, while King Chitraketu overcome by lamentation, lay like a dead body at the side of the dead body of his son, the two great sages Narada and Angira instructed him about the spiritual consciousness as follows. Yam syat prapavatandra bhavam yam tam chasya sristo puraidanim ataparam. Translation. O king, what relationship does the dead body for which you lament here have with you? And what relationship do you have with him? You may say that you are now related as a father and son. But do you think this relationship existed before? Does it really exist now? Will it continue to the future? Purport. The instruction given by Narad and Angira Muni are the true spiritual instruction for the illusion conditioned soul. The world is temporary, but because of our previous karma, we come here and accept bodies, creating temporary relationship in terms of society, friendship, love, nationality, and community, which are all finished at death. These temporary relationships did not exist in the past, nor will they exist in the future. Therefore, at present the moment, the so-called relationships are illusion.
Now, see, these are very difficult, right? We don't accept this, right? So this world is temporary, but because of our previous karma, we come here and accept bodies, creating temporary relationships in terms of society, friendship, love, nationality, and community, which are all finished at death. So it's meaning that when somebody dies in the family, he goes or she goes away, and you don't know whether you will get him or her back. May happen that they come back, but we don't know, right? And even if they come, they can be something different from your old relationship. So these temporary relationships didn't exist in the past, nor will they exist in the future. Therefore, at the present moment, the so-called relationships are illusions. Yatha prayanti samyanti shrutavegena balukaha samyugyante vigyujante tatha kalena dehinam. O kings, as small particles of sense sometimes come together and are sometimes separated due to the force of the waves, the living entities who are equipped, who have accepted material bodies, sometimes come together and are sometimes separated by the force of time. Who wants to hear this? Right? The misunderstanding of the conditioned soul is the bodily conception of life. The body is material, but within the body is the soul. This is spiritual understanding. Unfortunately, one who is in ignorance, under the spell of material illusion, accepts the body to be the self. He cannot understand that the body is matter. Like small particles of sand, bodies come together and are dissipated by the force of time. And people falsely lament for unification and separation. Unless one knows this, there is no question of happiness. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita 2.13, so this instruction is given by the Lord. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kumaram yavananjara tatha dehantara bhaktir dhirastatra namuyati. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. We are not the body, we are spiritual beings trapped in the body. A spiritual being trapped. So it's not that happily we are living in here. They were trapped. Our real interest lies in understanding this simple fact. Then we can make further spiritual progress. Otherwise, if we remain in the bodily conception of life, our miserable material existence, our miserable material existence will continue forever. Political adjustments, social welfare work, medical assistance, and all other programs we are having, we have manufactured for peace and happiness, will never endure. We shall have to undergo the sufferings of material life one after another. Therefore, material life is said to be dukhalayam ashasvatam. It is a reservoir of miserable condition. What we read earlier, right? Yeah, I was speaking about that one person. So he said that like if somebody commits suicide, right? I think we've spoken about that many times. So what happens to the person? We know he doesn't get a birth, right? has to roam around for so long. And he's punished. He's punished. So if that soul doesn't have good parents or whatever, he will go down to animal species. Yes. He goes down to animal species. Because you don't want the human body, right? Basically, that's what you're telling material nature. I don't want this human body. Animals don't commit suicide, right? They just stay put in their body and tolerate happiness and distress, winter and summer season, and anything in between. They just tolerate. Hmm? Text 4, you read?
यथा धार्ष्योऽस्मविधाना भवन्ति न भवन्ति च एवं भूतान् भूतेषु स्युदन्तान्माया. Translation: when seeds are sown in the ground, they sometimes grow into plants and sometimes do not. Sometimes the ground is not fertile and sowing of seed is unproductive. Similarly, sometimes a prospective father, being impelled by the potency of the Supreme Lord, can beget a child, but sometimes conception does not take place. Therefore, one should not lament over the artificial relationship of parenthood, which is ultimately controlled by the Supreme Lord. Purport: Maharaj Chitraketu was actually not destined to get a son. Therefore, although he married hundreds and thousands of wives, all of them proved barren, and he could not beget even one child. When Angira Rishi came to see the king requested the great sage to enable him to have at least one son. Because of the blessing of Angira Rishi, a child was sent by the grace of Maya, but the child was not to live for long. Therefore, in the beginning, Angira Rishi told the king that he would beget a child who would cause jubilation and lamentation. King Chit King Chitrakeshu Ketu was not destined to get.
Yeah, let me just look at this. Just look at this first paragraph here. No, so it said that King Chitraketu was actually not destined, right? It's not in his destiny to. So he's trying. Nothing is happening. Everything is going against him. So he's forcing, right? So when he forced, he got, but then it became like something very dangerous for him. So he lost. Huh? So yeah, so he told the great sage to enable him to have at least one son. So because the blessing of Angira Rishi, a child was sent by the grace of Maya. Right? So a child was sent by the grace of Maya. But the child was not to live long. Therefore, in the beginning, Angira Rishi told the king that he would beget a child who would cause jubilation and lamentation. Yeah. Huh?
King Chitraketu was not destined to get a child by providence or the will of the Supreme. Just as a sterile grain cannot produce more grain, a sterile person, by the will of the Supreme Lord, cannot beget a child. Sometimes a child is born even to an impotent father and sterile mother, and sometimes a potent father and fertile mother are childless. Indeed, sometimes a child is born despite contraceptive methods, and therefore the parents kill the child in the womb. In the present age, the killing children in the womb has become a common practice. Why? When contraceptive methods are taken, why don't they act? Why is the child sometimes produced to that father and mother have to kill it in the womb? We must conclude that our arrangement of the so called scientific knowledge cannot determine what will take place. What is enacted actually depends on the supreme will. It is by the supreme will that we are situated in certain conditions in terms of family, community, and personality. There are all arrangements of the Supreme Lord according to our desires. under the spell of Maya illusion. In devotional life, therefore, one should not desire anything since everything depends on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as stated in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.1.11. Anya Bhilasha Sunyam Dhyan Karmadi Anavritam Anukulnena Krishnanu Shilnam Bhakti Uttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profits or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. One should act only to develop Krishna consciousness. For everything else, one should fully depend upon the Supreme Person. We should not create plans that will ultimately make us frustrated.
So, because, like, say, like the king is lost. He doesn't have a son. So he's worried what will happen next. So he's not aware of something higher, right? So they're stuck in this karma kand and should do all this. They don't know of something that is higher. That's why Srila Prabhupada, is like so important. Otherwise, there's so much disaster. Let me just read this. Hmm? So, meaning a child is not dependent on father, mother, it's dependent on the Supreme Lord who's sending that child. So, we must conclude that our arrangement of so called scientific knowledge cannot determine what will take place. What is enacted actually depends on the Supreme Will. So, it is by the Supreme Will that we are situated in certain conditions in terms of family, community, and personality. Right? So it is the Supreme Will. These are all arrangement of the Supreme Lord according to our desires. So meaning that we want it. We want it, and therefore Krishna is fulfilling that desire. In devotional life, therefore, one should not desire anything, since everything depends on the Supreme Person Godhead. So in devotional life, it's only that, okay, Krishna, what do you want? Anyway, it takes a lot of practice. See, it's like we have to go on reading. This is the theory, right? But in all of us, we are all like pushed and moved around by our desires. Hmm? So, in devotional life, therefore, one should not desire anything, since everything depends on the Supreme Person Godhead. So, our famous verse is there, Nyavilasita Sunyam, Jnana Karmadi Anavritam, Anukulina Krishnanu, Shilanam Bhakti Uttama. So, to render service unto the Lord without the expectation of results, that is called pure devotional service. One should act only to develop Krishna consciousness. All right, so this is like, so more will be given. It's all philosophy. So our hour is up. So now it's going to be like a lot of philosophy. This section will be. See, we know all these things, but we forget, right? We just forget about all this, and we have to be told again and again the same thing. How we know the body, how is the soul, how we are coming together by the will of the Lord and then move out. All right. Thank you, Hare Krishna.